You know that feeling of perfect, complex order, right before it all just completely falls apart? We build these incredible, intricate systems to manage our world, but sometimes all it takes is one little crack to bring the whole thing crashing down. Let's take a look at what that actually feels like. Okay, so look at this. It's a departures board from JFK, but it's not just a list, right? This is a system failure happening in real time. Seattle, canceled, canceled. And, oh look, canceled again. Denver, canceled. Prague, canceled. You can practically feel the chaos just radiating out of this image. This is a perfect little snapshot of how much we rely on our systems of control and the pure pandemonium that happens when they break.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to connect the dots. Because the story of our world and this deep, deep human need to control everything, it's all written down in the documents we leave behind. You just have to know where to look, whether it's flight data, old government reports, or even obituaries.
And it all really comes down to this one central question. Why are we so obsessed with building these systems in the first place? What is it that drives this incredible need for order, for prediction, for mastering our world, and, let's be honest, sometimes each other? To get to the bottom of that, we have to go back. So let's start with a war that wasn't fought on any battlefield. It was fought inside the human skull. This is really where the modern, almost frantic obsession with control sinks its roots deep into the centers of power.
Project MKUltra. Now, you've probably heard the name, but the timeline is what's really insane here. This wasn't some short-lived, crazy idea. This was a 20-year program. It was sustained for 2 decades, running out of about 80 different institutions. A 20-year search for the keys to the human mind. So how on earth could a project that sounds so nuts today go on for so long? Well, it started with a single word: brainwashing. See, during the Korean War, American POWs were being put through this intense psychological manipulation. And the fear back home wasn't just that they'd give up secrets, but that their very minds, their beliefs, could be completely rewritten. That existential terror, the idea of losing control of your own thoughts, it sparked a massive fire inside the US government. And this quote just nails the mindset, doesn't it? The logic was brutally simple. If the enemy is turning the mind into a weapon, we have to do it first, and we have to do it better. The human psyche was no longer a private sanctuary. It was a new battlefield. It was territory to be mapped, to be understood, and ultimately to be controlled. And here's the part that is just mind-blowing. The sheer scale of it all. According to an official Government Accountability Office report, we are talking about hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands used as test subjects in all sorts of Cold War experiments. This wasn't some tiny secret project. It was a massive, sprawling enterprise. So what were they using on these people? Well, it was a terrifying cocktail of some of the most hazardous stuff imaginable. Radiation, chemical weapons like mustard gas, deadly nerve agents, and of course, LSD. They were basically throwing everything they could at the human mind, just to see what would break it, trying to find any possible edge in this new kind of war.
Okay, so while the CIA was going down this really crude, often brutal path of psychological control, a whole other story was unfolding right alongside it. It was a much quieter, way more methodical, and in the end, an even more powerful path to control that was being built in the worlds of biology and medicine. And that path was walked by guys like Dr. Frank Edward Young. Now, he's probably not a household name, but trust me, he was a true architect of the systems of control that shape basically everything in our modern world, from the medicine we take to the food we eat. I mean, his career is just a masterclass in how to build systems of control. His genetics research literally laid the foundation for all of modern biotechnology. Then he ran a major medical school. Then he became the commissioner of the FDA, overseeing every single drug and food product in the entire country. He was even a rear admiral in charge of disaster response. Every single step he took was about managing and controlling life, health, and disease. So here's the crucial point. While MKUltra was this messy, chaotic search for some kind of magic bullet, Dr. Young was methodically building the institutions and the technologies that would give us precise, molecular-level control over biology itself. He literally helped create a new era.
So, what happens when these two paths finally meet? When the dream of remote control from MKUltra merges with the incredible precision of biotechnology, well, that's when you get something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. It starts with this headline from the journal Nature.
holograms for acoustics. Now, that sounds complex, but the idea is actually kind of simple. Scientists figured out how to shape sound waves with the same kind of precision we use to shape light. They could create these complex 3D fields of sound. It was an absolutely incredible breakthrough. And then, almost immediately, came the application: acoustic-powered tiny medical microrobots. Yeah, you heard that right. They started using those sound holograms to power and steer microscopic robots around inside the body to deliver medicine. This isn't just a theory anymore. It's becoming reality. And this is where it just gets completely mind-bending. Sonogenic control of brain, heart, or other cells, using sound waves to turn specific genes on or off in specific cells. Remote, targeted, non-invasive control over the absolute building blocks of life. It's the original dream of MKUltra, but realized with the precision of a surgeon, not the blunt force of a spy. So, what are we really talking about here? At its core, this technology is a way to manipulate physical matter without ever touching it. It's a way to transfer power and information contact-free. It is, in the most literal sense, a whole new frontier in our quest for control. So the technology has evolved light years beyond what they had in the 50s. But what about that paranoia? The fear that started this whole thing? Has that gone away? Nope, not at all. The ghost of MKUltra is still haunting us. It just goes by a different name now.
And this just shows the connection so perfectly. The fear of brainwashing from the 1950s has just been updated. Today, the word you hear everywhere is PSYOP, short for psychological operation. The tech might have changed from LSD to social media algorithms, but that underlying fear is identical. The fear that powerful, hidden forces are controlling how we think. And here's a perfect example of what that looks like today. This is from a viral conspiracy theory, and it claims that a well-known politician isn't who she seems to be. That she's actually a secret agent, an establishment op, a psyop, planted to secretly control a political movement. Honestly, the specific details don't matter as much as the structure of the belief itself. It's the modern version of the same old story. So, after this whole journey, from secret Cold War labs to microscopic robots to online conspiracies, where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us in a world where that basic human impulse for control isn't some secret project anymore. It's right out in the open, built into almost everything we touch. We've talked about controlling minds and cells, but just look at how we control the planet itself. These are real products you can buy. We're enhancing phosphorus, managing nitrogen, accelerating how plants get nutrients. We are literally engineering the soil to squeeze out as much as we can. This isn't some secret government program, this is just modern agriculture. It's the impulse for control made totally normal, totally commercial. Which brings us to our final thought. We've gone from the clumsy, desperate experiments of the Cold War to technologies that give us precise, almost godlike power over the fundamental forces of life and matter. Our tools for controlling the world around us are becoming practically limitless. So the only real question left is, how do we control ourselves?